You try to see who can crack first?
Welcome to No Good Takes, episode 16. Giuseppe and Jeremy Horowitz with you. And we have a lot to talk about. The stove is burning. Burnt my hand just reading the latest Jeff Passan tweet. The Mets land a couple of big relievers. The Yankees saved the season last night. Jeremy was in attendance. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. And also a whole lot of around the league stuff to talk about. But Jeremy, let's start with the Yankees because that was the game of the year for the Pinstripes. That was basically the game, in my opinion, that was going to determine what they do today. A huge win. A lot of these teams in the AL are going at least quote unquote all in. I use that very loosely, but a lot of these teams are trading and they are competing. And the Yankees now with Cashman on the phone, I think it's their turn to go and get something big.
Yeah, and we said it the past couple weeks. It feels like every Yankees win now kind of is the season-saving win. But last night especially, down 1-0 until the eighth inning, putting up 2 runs in the eighth. Then Williams coming in, blowing the save, going down 1 in the ninth, tying it with the Volpe homer, going down 1 in the 10th with the sac fly from Miranda. Then Bellinger hitting a game-tying triple with 1 out, and then the Yankees not be able to get him home. And then going to the 11th, winning the game 5-4 with the McMahon, base hit after I forget it was on the mound for Tampa after he balked and got Chisholm to third. Yeah, it was one of the best games I've ever watched, but it was also really sloppy at the same time. I feel like the pitching, starting pitching from both teams last night was phenomenal. Will Warren, Zach Little, they were both great last night for the Yankees and the Rays. Then once the teams went to the bullpen, it feels like everyone just kind of got a little nervous. The Yankees went to Brett Hedrick, I think that's how you say his name, after Warren. He came in, struck at the side in the 7th, and he pitched 2 outs into the 8th. And then, Yankees take the lead, bottom of the 8th, and out trots Devin Williams in the top of the 9th, and didn't have really command of really any pitch, especially the fastball. Hung a slider or some type of breaking ball to Josh Lau, hit a 400-foot bomb down the right field line. And it was, again, it's just a weird baseball game. But, yeah, I think you brought up a good point. Them winning last night was perfect for the front office because now, at the worst, they split the series with the Rays. And, it's deadline day. So winning last night, I think, kind of propels them into going a little bit more all in today. They just need bullpen help. I think that's the big glaring issue with the team. They need bullpen help. And if you want to go grab a starting pitcher or two, sure. But I think the main focus today for the Yankees should be bullpen arms.
What's the vibe of that stadium like? Because last night you go there and this is a Yankees team that obviously won the night before, but you just feel like the season is losing. It's out of the grips of the Yankees' hands. It feels like it's just slipping away, and you go down, and I'm sure vibes are dead. And just to mount a comeback, to watch it get taken away, to come back again, like that's a roller coaster of emotions. That is the perfect example of the season's back. We're dead. The season's back. And just doing that over and over again for the 11 innings that you were there.
Yeah, that's really what it felt like. Going there, I got free tickets from Fanatics Fest. I went with my girlfriend. Listen, going there, I was really excited. I was like, all right, see Yankees baseball again before the deadline. It's a really hot day. It was beautiful. And then we get there. What's his face? Warren threw really well on the top of the first. Yankees come up in the bottom of the first inning. Don't really do anything. Whatever, kind of expected. And then I think it was the second inning, maybe the third, they had bases loaded with 2 outs. Lead off. Oh no! In the second inning, McMahon led off with a double, and then it was so everyone's like, all right, we're at least gonna score a run here. Take the lead early. Then it was Volpe pop out to second base, Wells strike out, and then Grisham walk, Rice walk, and then Belly ground out. But leadoff double, you got to think you're gonna score every time. So it was high, and then it came crashing down. That happened a couple times last night. And again, we were down 1-0 for majority of that game up until the 8th inning. And even in the 8th inning, the Grisham leadoff homer, and then Rice walked again. then um, who was batting third last night? Uh, Grisham, Rice, Belly. Then Belly, believe he singled, and it was first and third. And then Stanton came up, struck out, and Dominguez came up, hit a routine 4-6 double play. So again, like or first and third, or first and second, whatever it was, first and third, first and second, nobody out. Like we're gonna get more here. Like it's not only gonna be a 1-run lead going to ninth. Williams will have like extra bit of leeway. Stanton, that's all 5 pitches. All 5 were balls. Ended up striking out, swinging. He was up 2-0 in the count. And then Dominguez comes up, just weakly rolls one over to second base. And then again, the visors came crashing down. And then obviously, blow the lead at the top of the ninth with the walk and the home run. Volpe comes up, homers, and the stadium is, it's like euphoric. And then the top of the 10th comes around. Weaver works out of some trouble, but the Rays take the lead on the Arana sac fly. And then bottom of the 10th, the Bellinger triple to tie the game at 4. Everyone's back on the high again. It's less than 2 out. You think, Stanton's up. He's going to hit a fly ball to the outfield. I think he's going to win the game. He strikes out, and Jazz can't get Belly home with 2 outs. And again, Vibes come crashing back down again. And in the 11th, Tim Hill came in, was phenomenal. And finally, the Yankees found a way to win a game in extra innings. But yeah, it was such an emotional game last night, both highs and lows. It was so quick how it turned too, because in the beginning of the game, it was just dead. Like there was no energy in the stadium. I think not having Judge in the lineup is a big part of that, because he's what puts people in the seats. But it's such a dead environment when there's nothing going on offensively, and that's what the whole Yankees brand is. It's offense, it's home runs, it's these towering fly balls, and when they're not doing that, no one really cares.
And in Yankees fashion, it's a big win, but there's still plenty of questions that go with the big
Oh,
win. Obviously, starting with Devin Williams. You got to know at this time of the year what kind of Devin Williams you're going to get, because now it's getting to the conversation of we have Luke Weaver, and like we can put Weaver in that closer role, and I trust him more. But then you look at Devin Williams for the past month and a half, and the guy's been lights out. So usually when a closer does this and you implode, obviously against the Rays, it's nothing new for the Yankees. You would sit there and say to yourself, okay, whatever, your closer's not going to be perfect every time out. But it's hard to sit there and not take into account the beginning of the season he had. So maybe I'm overreacting in the fact, okay, it's just a blow and save. These things are going to happen. I'm sure I'm going to see Edwin Diaz blow a save, and I'm not going to, jump out of my chair, and that'll be Mets bias in me talking. But as of right now, I still trust Devin Williams as your closer, obviously, but it's hard not to turn your head around at those kinds of things. And then you look at Anthony Volpe, whose plethora of home runs, I think that's 6 home runs in his last 11 or 12 games or so,
yep.
and a league leading, 15, 16 errors now. I don't know if it updated from last night. It was at
I saw
15 going into the day.
Yeah, I saw it was 6 home runs and 5 errors in his past 11 games.
So, I mean, if you're the Yankees, I made the video about having to send Volpe down just because of how bad he's been defensively. But now the bat is a much needed pop in this lineup right now. With Volpe, do you take it if you're Boone? You're already a suspect team defensively. But if Volpe can hit for you, man, I'm telling you right now, those 6 home runs are probably more valuable than the 5 errors, which 5 errors in however many games is still ridiculous. But if you're hot with the bat, you can definitely excuse those errors more and more.
Yeah, I agree to a point. At the end of the day, defense is what's going to win you a World Series. We saw it last year. But the thing I can't stand about Volpe is he's not a big dude. He bats low on the order. Me personally, I don't need my 8-hitter to go out there trying to jack home runs. And say he hits 20 home runs a year, that's fine. But if he's gonna bat, 215, 220, and not play gold glove defense like we saw in his rookie year, it's what's the point of that? I don't need my shortstop doing that. I could take that from one of my outfielders or my catcher, but I don't want that for my shortstop position, especially a guy that his best tool is his speed. You saw it in in the second game against Tampa, when he was on base. He stole second, he stole third, forced a bad throw, and then just trotted home on the error from from the catcher because the ball went to left field. So my whole thing with him is like, yeah, the offense is coming around, but he goes through these stretches where he looks either like such a great hitter, like he's been doing it for 10, 15 years, or he looks like he's never picked up a bat before. And I think we're getting back into the point where Volpe is looking like a major league hitter again for at least a little while. But I mean, at least from what we've seen in years past, he's going to come crashing down again. But hopefully, by the time he comes crashing down, Judge is back and he's healthy, and maybe they grab another bat or two in the lineup today at the deadline. But my whole thing with my shortstop, I need him playing, solid defense. I can't have him leading the league in errors. He's not like an Ellie De La Cruz. He's not gonna. Ellie's batting around 270, 280. He has, I'm sure he has 20, 25 stolen bases by now, and he has around 20, 25 homers. That's Ellie's game. Like you're gonna get that out of him. Volpe's whole mantra coming up was he's fast, he gets on base, and he plays lights out defense. And recently we haven't seen that. We haven't seen any defense from him. Even last night, like every ground ball hit to him, like you can just feel the entire stadium just tense up. And then he made the bad throw in the eighth, and everyone's booing him and everything. Like I feel bad, but to a point, it's like we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's just it doesn't make any sense. And to have him roll out there every day, yeah, like who else do you have? You know what I mean? You're not going to put Peraza out there because he's even a worse hitter, and Volpe's giving, like you said, he's giving you offensive production right now. So you're not just going to throw that away.
I think it's a bad example of pride with the Yankees front office because I'll backtrack on what I said about you got to send Anthony Volpe down and whatever it may be. And I still stand by that because with Volpe, how he's playing, it's not at a major league level, even though he's shown the power surge now. And as a whole, the last month and a half or so, he hasn't shown that major league level hitting or defense. And there's a good point. Who are you going to put at shortstop? If you were to send him down to this hypothetical world, and that's on the front office. That's on another year of a failed lineup construction. And you feel like it's been the same story with the Yankees for a while now because, look, Volpe's young. I'm not saying give up on the kid. But what I am saying is when he's struggling like this, and you can see mentally, it seems like he's got a case of the yips now. I saw somebody on the fan say it the other day. I'll take the words right out of their mouths. It does look like he has the yips. It looks like he can't feel the ground ball. And if you have a power surge, maybe that gives you a little bit of confidence defensively. And clearly with Volpe, it hasn't. Send him down. Let him work on his game. But you can't do that if you don't have anybody to fill his spot. And Rosario hasn't played shortstop in a long time. And what you just mentioned, you just campaigned as the Yankees to get Peraza and Vivas out of that lineup. And you can't insert them right back in now. It's definitely a case of where in a perfect world, they have to send him down for, again, whoever you would have replaced Volpe with wouldn't have been great with the bat, but it would have been a vast downgrade offensively and a major upgrade defensively. So whatever. So Volpe is like going to have to stay up, and the kid's confidence just seems to get shot more and more. But what are you going to do? It's not his fault. It's a lineup that you didn't have anybody to replace him, and that's on Cashman.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because there is no one behind him. I mean, after the first game against, maybe it was game 2 against Tampa this series. I listened to the post game, and I forget who the reporter was. It may have been Brian Hoke. He asked Boone, do you think maybe you give Volpe a day off or two? And Boone pretty much told him no. He said, he's pretty much, he's our guy. He's great defensively. The same old thing, but. And it feels like we're talking about this every single week, but it comes up at pretty much after every single game. I mean, it just comes to a point where, yes, the Yankees themselves kind of roll out a failure of a lineup kind of on a nightly basis, but I think it's more of an organizational failure. I mean, their farm system is brutal. You have these kids coming up from the minor leagues, double A, triple A, that can't run the bases. You saw it last night with Wells. I mean, bottom of the ninth, tie game. Grisham comes up with a guy on first and lays down a bunt. It was a great bunt. Grisham wasn't able to beat it out. It was Junior Caminero came from third, threw on the run, got Grisham by like a step and a half. And then Wells, who was on first, went to second base because, that's what happens on a bunt. And he just started trotting off the field. Like, dude, you're a major league level player. Like, you're in the MLB. You're a major league catcher. How do you not know how many outs there are in a baseball game? Like, it isn't the first time this has happened this year. It's not the first time it's happened this decade, with the Yankees. Like, it's a failure at the major league level, but it's also a failure, like, I think, as a whole organization. There's something wrong kind of down through, like high A ball. The way these guys are developed is just not right, and I think we kind of see that with the young guys coming up who can't run the bases, who can't do little things right, and who can't play defense.
And we've seen this before. You mentioned it. It's not like this is the first time. We've seen base running mistakes. We've seen guys forget how many outs there are. And this is a big game. The Yankees today sit 2.5 games up in the first wild card spot. They're 4 games back of Toronto. So it's not like they're biting for a playoff spot right now. But a few days ago, they were just 1 game over everybody in the wild card. And when I was talking to Michael Kay last week, he said to me, he goes, yeah, I don't know if the Yankees are going to make the playoffs if nothing changes. And how they were playing and how they were skidding, that's not a bad take to have. And obviously, Yankees win last night. But, if you lose last night, we're talking about that play way more, Grisham, on the base path. We're talking about guys unable to cash in with runners in scoring position. What I do want to talk about, though, and this is how you know when you are just due or destined to go on a run or something. Jason Dominguez in the top of the 10th inning or the top of the ninth, whatever it was, and he makes this unbelievable catch at the wall. This is a play that this guy has failed to make time and time again. You make that catch, season saved. That
Yeah.
is, you want to talk about the Bellinger shoestring catch? No. Jason Dominguez, because that would have cleared the bases probably.
Oh
The
yeah, that's
bases
at
were loaded at the
least
time.
that's at least a double, and that was for I was like, and I was in 232, so it's left field down the line, so I couldn't see what was going on. I couldn't like see where Dominguez was, so I was just kind of going off the reaction of people around me, like people, and I was in like the 6th row, so people 5 rows ahead, 5 rows consecutively ahead of me, standing up. I couldn't see anything, so I was just going off the reaction. Everyone started cheering. Then I saw the replay on Twitter when I got home. Like it looked like he had such a bad read on the ball. Like it
Yeah.
was over. It's a tough play. Don't get me wrong. It's a tough play. He's in the corner, but it looked like he just didn't read it right. I think it was kind of more of a lucky catch than anything. But that's a play he's been struggling with since he's been called up to the MLB. That's a huge play. Again, I think that kind of just swung the momentum back towards the Yankee side last night. And that was a Ronda at the plate too, who's a big lefty. I didn't know he could, poke a ball the other way. Like, again, Yankee Stadium, not the biggest place to play, but distance wise. But poking a ball with 2 strikes, fighting a fastball in the outer half that deep that way. That was a very impressive swing. But yeah, Dominguez being able to overcome pretty much every mistake he's made in left field, going to his right, having to reach across his body and make that catch last night. That's huge. It's huge. But again, there's so many glaring issues with this team where like they're not winning a World Series. So like even if they can go all out on the trade deadline, they could completely revamp everything. It doesn't matter because the guy at the helm still doesn't know what he's doing. I think every year you see June, July, the Yankees falter every single year since Boone's been around. Like you can blame the guys on the roster all you want. The team in 2025 is different than the team in 2019 or 2020 or 2021 or 2022. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's Boone and it's Cashman, and that's what I think it comes down to.
I mean, Dominguez, dude. It's like, what a catch, but that was like the Sandlot where you just like
Yeah, please catch it.
glove
Please.
up, like so just cover your eyes, put your glove up. Please find my glove.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I didn't
exactly
like
what it
try to
was.
lean over and look either because I knew who was in left field. I had a feeling what was going to happen as soon as I saw the ball go up. So I was just hoping that around me I'd hear cheering instead of people groaning and leaving the stadium.
Because that would have been it, and that would have been definitely not the season because you still have 2 months left to play, but that definitely dictates how aggressive you are at the deadline. And
Yeah.
speaking of the deadline, this is interesting, Jeremy. I didn't know this. Since the Judge era, so we'll start it in 2017, Brian Cashman has only traded his top 5 prospects twice at the deadline. So a lot of these AL teams seem to be going, like I said, quote unquote, I use the term loosely, all in. But the Yankees, are they going to follow suit? Because just a few weeks ago, we were saying this isn't a team that we'd want to sell the farm for, but all these American League teams seem to be going in. It's wide open. You think the Yankees follow, or is this just casual spending yet again?
I don't think they can go all in. I think you kind of gotta like see who's up against them in the American League. Like they're not better than the Astros. I don't think they're better than Toronto, at least not right now. I don't think they're better than Seattle with the way their roster looks right now, especially with the trades of Naylor and Suarez. I don't even know if they're better than Texas. Like I don't think they're the best team out of the American League. Yeah, I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think they're gonna make it to at least the DS, probably the CS, because they're gonna face an AL Central team somewhere, and they just run through the AL Central in the playoffs. But like, I don't see the Yankees winning the World Series this year. I don't see them competing for the World Series this year. Um, like they're just not deep enough. And when it comes to the playoff time, these mistakes that they make, they just get highlighted even more. Like, and you're playing the best teams in the league. You know what I mean? So like they're going to make you pay. Granted, the Rays are a very good scrappy team. Don't get me wrong, but like you make those errors against Houston or Texas or Toronto, like we've seen, all year so far, or even Seattle. Like they're gonna make you pay for it. I think the Yankees were lucky to walk away with a win last night. I think they deserved to win because they had so many guys on base. They threatened a lot throughout that game. But like I think at the end of the day, they were lucky to walk away with a win last night.
But
If that propels them into buying, like going crazy at the deadline, it's pretty much like a complete revamp of the roster, in my opinion.
that logic is flawed, and it's not, because you're right. You could sit there and say this lineup is nowhere near World Series contending. But if I told any fan of any team at the beginning of the season, hey, like, we think that you're going to make the championship series, then you'd say you got to buy.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, it is flawed. And obviously, the Yankees' number one need is that bullpen. You have no middle guys to get you to Weaver and Devin Williams. But if you could get one or two guys, then all of a sudden you feel way better about your bullpen and your starters. But you're right and you're wrong. It's weird because, yeah, the Yankees probably will find their way to the ALDS, maybe the ALCS, because that's just how the American League is built right now. But how are you going to make it to the ALCS and say, we didn't go all in, we didn't buy? Because now all of a sudden you're 8 wins away. And you went to the World Series last year. Granted, this year you have some American League teams that are going to give you a run for money more than you could say the Guardians did last year. But how are you going to say that I think that this team could get to the ALCS, but we can't buy? It's weird. But then the counter argument is, look at us. And that's it. And stop right there. Look at
yeah,
this
that's
team. Anthony Volpe is my everyday shortstop. Jason Dominguez is my everyday left fielder. And with the bat, sure, that's good. But you mentioned it. No defensive team this flawed in so many spots is going to win a World Series.
no way.
But
No.
but they can get close. And if you can get close, that's enough of an argument to me to say go all in, buy. Because we don't know what it's going to look like in October. But we know right now what it looks like.
I could see them buying 100%, but I think I mean, me personally, I'm sure a lot of other Yankee fans really wanted was bullpen guys. Ryan Hesley, Tyler Rogers, Johan Duran. Like those are the names everyone wants. Obviously, they're gone. I think if the Yankees were gonna go quote unquote all in, they would have landed a guy like that. They were, or at least they would have been rumors about a guy like that for the Yankees. Like I think that Cashman's gonna make a couple. They're gonna make moves. Of course, they're gonna make moves, but they're gonna say, oh yeah, we really went all out for it. Like we really laid all the chips on the table. But I don't think they're actually gonna do that. They're gonna say they are, but it's gonna be the same old story every year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think they trade any of those top 5 guys again, because look at this team where it is right now.
There's no
Without Judge, it hurts. But when he comes back, man, and the Yankees can string together a few wins and Judge comes back and you got some bullpen help, you got to be feeling like you're on top of the world.
Yeah,
Because that's it.
the team with and without Judge, they're two completely different teams. You know what I mean? And if he can just hit when he comes back, that's fine. That you're getting, in my opinion, the best hitter in baseball back.
Yeah.
So like that's gonna help out in big time. But I think just defensively and pitching, they need as much help as possible. If like I wouldn't be opposed to trading Dominguez for a good arm. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all because I'm not a big Dominguez guy. To be honest, like he can't play defense and he can only hit from one side. He's a switch hitter. He can only hit righties, and he still has the Martian name attached to him, so you can get a good return for a guy like that. And they just traded for Austin Slater, so maybe he's your guy.
Did you
But
see the stat? Oh my God, dude. I wish I took a picture of this tweet. And it was one of the weirdest tweets. It was Bob Nightingale the other day. And this is when reporters are bored. He tweeted out If the Yankees meet the Dodgers again in the World Series, you can count on Austin Slater starting against Clayton Kershaw. And he read out his numbers against Kershaw, and I was just looking at it and thinking to myself, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
What does this mean? Okay. I'll keep that in the back of my mind if it's the Yankees Dodgers again in the World Series and Kershaw gets a start.
theoretically.
Like thanks for letting me know, Bob. I mean,
I mean, his numbers
so
against lefties are really good. He's like a 720. I think he's at like a 720 OPS this year alone. I think he's around 800 against lefties. He's batting like 260, and he can play a good defensive left field, which is fine.
need
He
it.
can't do that, so like it works. But if that's their move to just try to separate themselves from the rest of the pack, that's not going to get it done. Because at the end of the
No.
day, like if baseball was played where the Yankees only got to hit, they'd be the best team ever. If they never had to throw a pitch ever again, or never had to field a ground ball or a fly ball ever again, they would be the greatest team in the league. The problem is that's not how baseball's played.
Did you see the stat by Talking Yanks? I mean, obviously not by them, but they were the ones who reported it. When the Yankees don't make an error, they're like 20 games over 500. And when they do make an error, they're the worst team by a mile. That's
And I feel like
incredible.
when they make one error, it kind of snowballs into two or like
Yeah.
3 or 4. So, and like even last night, the rain started to come down. It was the second inning. Rain started to come down a little bit. Sure-handed Ryan McMahon, just over runs a ground ball, goes off his heel, off the heel of his glove, and from there, the whole the air got sucked out of the building right away. It's like once you put on the pinstripes, you put on the Yankee hat, like you cannot figure out how to do defense anymore. And it's like every ball in play, it feels like it's the out to win the World Series, and it's a routine ground ball with one out in the top of the third inning.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like right now, how you stand, I've never seen it before. Where, I mean, yes, I have. I take that back. I'm sure I've seen that before with my Giants or my Mets, where like one play and you feel like that's it. No, I take that back. There was definitely a stretch where the Mets were so bad they'd go down in the second or third inning. I'd just say, screw this.
Yeah, game over.
And how far we've come. But in terms of trading, I don't think they're going to move Dominguez at all. That's their guy. He's still so young, and he's a traditional center fielder, which is weird that he struggles so much in a corner outfield spot, but he can play center field so good allegedly. I've never seen it, but that's what everybody says. So I mean, I'll sit there and I'll listen. But the bat's there. You got to remember how young he is. I mean, this is a perfect example of you can't let young guys grow on a team where you're trying to win now. We've seen that before because if this is a Volpe on say an athletics team or a Dominguez on an Angels team, actually Angels are kind of hot right now, a randomly bad team, then you could say they have time. Let them make the pains, let them go through their errors, and they'll figure it out. They're still so young. But when you have guys like this who are, early 20s, mid 20s, and you're trying to win a World Series now, the window closes on them a little bit. And I don't think either of those guys are going to get close to traded, even though Volpe is an interesting topic a few years down the line if he doesn't figure anything out. Dominguez has way longer of a leash. But in terms of right now, you can't send them back down, but you got to let them work through their growing pains in the MLB, and that could stunt their growth, stunt their confidence, but you're trying to win now. And you're not going to move those guys.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, the thing with the Yankees, we saw it even in I think it was 2022 or 2023. Like the thing with them, they don't pick a direction of where they want to go. This time of year, it's either like you buy or you sell. The Yankees kind of do like a soft buy every single year. So you have guys who kind of just hang around the MLB level who have the same struggles every single night. And if again, I don't think this team last year I thought they were good enough. This year I don't see it with this Yankee roster how it's constructed. Yeah. Growing pains, they're gonna happen, but if the front office's whole thing is, we're here to win, we're gonna go all in, we're gonna go try to win the World Series again, and you're gonna keep rolling out the same mediocre product night in, night out, it's not how it's not how you build a fan base. It's how you lose the fan base and how you have them turn against you. That's kind of how I feel it's going. Like you said, if it's an athletics team or I don't know, even like the Rockies, even the Diamondbacks now, like you're just trying to figure out what you got. You know what I mean? If that's the kind of the situation the Yankees were in, you know what? It's fine because then you see these guys grow. But the developmental system of the Yankees is so bad, They don't ever pick a direction which way they want to go. They always say, we're in it to win it, but the moves they make, like they're not needle movers.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to like put into words, but the mood that I get in when I watch Yankees baseball, it's just like it just feels like disgusted. And having to feel like that when I know they're most likely going to make the playoffs and they're going to be on the biggest stage, on national TV against best teams in the American League, it's just gross because I know exactly how it's going to play out every single time, and like almost a part of me where I want them. Maybe not now, but I like because the judge window is closing. As we go year by year, the judge window is definitely closing. But like, I almost want them to just pick a year to just rebuild everything around Judge, just like regroup everything and then see what happens. Because doing this whole soft buy every year to just keep it just feels like purgatory. It's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at some of the past quote unquote biggest deadlines of the Yankees over the past decade. And a lot of these aren't that good, you
No,
know. Since I mean this list goes back a little before 2015. This is like 2014, 2010-ish, and those are some good trades. But key additions in 2021: Joey Gallo,
yeah.
Anthony
Well,
Rizzo, which was good at the time, Andrew Heaney, Heen Dog, we love him.
oh my God, I forgot about him.
Clay Holmes became a Yankee in 21 at the deadline. Wandy Peralta, bet you forgot about him. I did
Yeah.
until just right now. And Tim LaCastro. It's lost Ezekiel Duran. Some of these guys never even heard of before. Oh, Kevin Alcantara, yeah.
Like that on paper, it looks like a really good deadline because Gallo was a really good power at the time. Rizzo was, playing really well, but like none of those guys are around anymore.
No,
Gallo
I
didn't
mean,
last very long. Rizzo was great, but like Rizzo was our starting first baseman in the World Series, and now he doesn't have a job. Like
yeah,
that,
it's pretty crazy. 2021, he became a Yankee. I feel like
yeah,
he was
like
barely a Yankee.
I don't know. I feel like he was there forever, but like I feel like that's such a problem. Our starting left fielder from the World Series and our starting first baseman from the World Series, they don't have. Well, I don't know what's going on for Dugo. He may be. I don't know if he's still in Atlanta, but like, they didn't have jobs for so long, and we were rolling them out every single day,
Yeah.
penciled into the lineup. Like that's an issue. I don't know. Maybe if I'm overthinking, but I feel like that's a huge issue. If guys you had in the World Series last year don't even have any offers for jobs the next season.
That's actually a perfect way to put it. You were putting out two guys starting every day in the World Series. Rizzo's out of a job. He's basically retired. And if Verdugo wasn't on a team in the Braves where they were just so depleted all the time and underperforming, you think he'd be having a job? No.
Oh,
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. It's pretty remarkable that the Yankees did that. And it's amazing, Jeremy. Let's just take a step back here. Yankees had their biggest win of the season last night. And they had these amazing moments from so many of their guys who needed them. And we're just like continuing to just bash them. I'll say something positive about the Yankees. I'll start. I like about the Yankees that they are showing tremendous resilience lately. I like Giancarlo Stanton, how he has become a new type of hitter where you don't expect a strikeout or bust anymore. You can expect this guy to line one the other way for you. I like Ryan McMahon. He's a former Rocky, and he gives you great defense. I like Anthony Volpe, who hits the ball well now and still can't play great defense, but that's okay because he's hitting home runs. And yeah, I like that about the Yankees. And I like Max Fried. He's good. And I'm happy he's not a Brave anymore. All right. That's my niceness for the Yankees.
I was telling Victoria walking out of the stadium last night. I said, if you can give me like 10 to 20 Max Fried's, Garrett Cole's, Luke Weaver's, and Tim Hill's on my pitching staff, and give me, you know, another 10 to 15 Aaron Judge's, Cody Bellinger's, and Ryan McMahon's, I'm happy. Like, if you can just give me carbon copies of like them, we're awesome. I don't need the other guys. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to extend McMahon and Bellinger now. I think those guys are what baseball players should be. Like, they do the little things right. Like, every at bat is a good at bat. Again, McMahon, I know his numbers aren't near where Bellinger's are. They aren't like they don't jump off the page, but he makes up for that with his glove. And Bellinger, like I know I watched him when he was in LA. I watched him a little bit last year in Chicago, but watching him every single day, the at bats he takes are so professional. Like they're what coaches preach at the younger levels, like youth baseball. They preach fighting with two strikes. They preach going the other way with fastballs in the outer half. The way he hits is just how I feel like it's supposed to be. And there's so many guys and MLB, especially on the Yankees, who don't do that. So like I love having guys like Bellinger around because every time he's up, I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna get on base here. Like I know again, he's like a 280 guy. I don't know what his on base is. His OPS is probably around 750. But like having guys like that is what I love. That to me is baseball, and I feel like the whole like baseball. I feel like is a dying sport in our country, which is sad to say because no, like just the way it's played now is kind of disgusting. But having guys like Belly and McMahon and Tim Hill, I feel like it just warms my heart because I love baseball players that leave it all on the field every single night.
Well, good news for McMahon because you said you want them to extend him, and I remember he has a contract already that the Yankees have him for the next 3 years until 27. The Yankees only eat about $4 million this year. Next 2 years they're paying him $16 million. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2028. Signed a contract with the Rockies 6 years for $70 million.
That's insane, dude.
I mean, I love my Rocks, but let's just let's pump the brakes on these signings. You know, every notable name you get doesn't have to get a big payday, all right? I mean, that's a little ridiculous of a contract there, but yeah. Yankees basically, again, the win last night, I had a feeling dictates what they do today. I'm sure Cashman will be at least somewhat aggressive. Go and get your bullpen arms. If you're lucky, get some bat somewhere. But, I think it's good on the Yankees talk. You got anything else you want to get in there?
I just feel like it's a little late. Like the top guys are gone, and if they really want to win, I feel like they would have at least pushed more aggressively for the top guys. Like, I mean, granted, maybe I'm just being, hard on the front office or whatever it is, but I feel like if they really wanted to, make something broke. If they really wanted to make a push,
my microphone fell.
Oh, that's unfortunate. If they really wanted to make a push to be the top team in the American League, they would have gotten the top arms. Like the bats, like Suarez is what it is. Naylor, whatever. Like if they really wanted to, that's cool. If they really wanted to become, the New York Yankees again, I feel like they would have made a push for the top guys, and they didn't. So I don't know. Whatever they do, I just feel like it's not going to be enough. So maybe I'm being pessimistic and it's kind of being hard on the front office. But I don't know. I just don't feel like whatever they do is going to be enough.
I mean, again, where you were last night as the Yankees, you couldn't really dictate going all in.
True.
And if you went all in, you would have received a lot of backlash and a lot would have went wrong. But you look at the trade for Yohan Duran, and Phillies kept their top two guys. And we're going to talk about that later. Like that was a pretty good trade for the Phillies. Like you somehow kept Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter. Like that's huge for a top closer like that this year. That's huge. Yeah. You keep those guys, and they look what the Mets did. They gave up a pretty decent haul for Tyler Rogers. We'll talk about that too in a little bit. But these are two guys where you felt like if you really wanted to, you could have went out and got them, and that would have just maybe brought some confidence back into the Yankees fan base, saying, "Look, we trust our guys right now. Look at what we're willing to do with this bullpen." But who knows what those conversations were like? I'm sure that Phillies were in on Duran for days, Mets were in on Rogers for days. So who knows where the Yankees are standing? Because again, if you lose last night to the Rays, today's the deadline. All of a sudden, you're saying to yourself, "Why bother?" I'm sure we would have had fans out there in the world and media personalities on radio and television saying the Yankees should just sell. I'm sure it would have gone that extreme because that's what it feels like with the Yankees. It feels like every win is so monumental and every loss is so crushing. But they have a big win at the perfect time right before the deadline. Okay. Let's talk about some Mets because they got swept out of San Diego, dude. And I was just pulling my hair out. I'll do just a quick game by game just so you know where I'm at mentally. Night one, Mark Vientos grand slam. I'm running to Twitter. I'm running to the group chats. Don't trade Mark Vientos. This guy is the real deal. Huascar Brazaban, who got sent down by the Mets, blows the game. He pulls Garrett Cole, doesn't cover the bag. It was a hard hit ball down the first base line. Pete Alonso, granted, makes a great diving stop that I don't think a lot of people get. But Braziban thought it was just going to be an automatic double down the line. He's picking his ass on the mound, and he's not able to cover in time. So whatever. That whole blow-up inning happens. Mets lose game 1. Blew a 5-run, 4-run lead in the same inning. Game 2. I don't even remember game 2. Mets just lost, like bad.
7-1.
I think it was 7-1, and it was just, all right, Manny Machado 2-run shot. Maybe you just want to drop kick my TV and go through the wall outside of the house. And then game 3, you get shut out, whatever. Get me the hell out of San Diego. Yu Darvish, who in his last starts had an ERA way over 4. Yu Darvish, who was struggling mightily this year, puts up a quality start against the Mets because he owns the Mets. Of course he does. And the Padres get their first sweep since May 24th, Jeremy. May 24th. It's July 31st.
I feel like, I mean, the Padres are a team, especially when the Mets go there, but I feel like that's a team the Mets just can't figure out. I mean, since the wild card in 22. I remember last year I was watching, and I was at my Utica house. I was laying down watching Mets Padres, and I saw Diaz come in. He got Cronenworth to strike out, and then, in steps Jackson Merrill after Cronenworth gave him the rundown. 2 pitches later, Merrill's rounding the bases after hitting a walk-off bomb. Like, I feel like that's just a team the Mets can't figure out. Like, that's a thing, you know what I mean? But blowing a 5-1 lead, like that's the momentum killer right there. You got to hope that they can just bounce back. I don't know who they got next. You got to hope they can bounce back. And
San Francisco, not worried about it. Back home against the Giants.
They just played them too.
Yeah, we have Tyler Rogers now, and they get Jose Budo. So that'll be a fun pitching swap.
They have the Jose Budo.
Keep him, bro. Keep him.
Couple shove innings.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
That's tough. I mean, especially doing that game 1 of the series on the road.
Yeah.
Like, that's tough to come back from. Then, getting blown out the next night and shut out 2 nights after that. Like, it's kind of after blowing a 5-1 like that, the whole series kind of feels like wash.
It set the tone.
Yeah, like
that set the tone.
Yeah, that's like a death sentence. Again, it happens. Like, that's part of what makes baseball so special. But that's a death sentence.
And the Mets last year swept San Diego at Citi Field. But when the Mets go to San Diego, we always talk about the House of Horrors with Atlanta. The Mets, you sprinkle it around, they have some other houses of horrors that they can't figure out. Pittsburgh, they have done pretty badly over the past couple of years for whatever reason. San Diego, you just said perfectly, is legitimately like a death sentence when you go there. And the Mets have some problems at the top of the lineup, dude. Like, Lindor is not hitting.
He's not any.
He had, like a 2-hit game at Citi Field. He had a 3-for-5 game in San Francisco, and you thought he was breaking out of it. But this was kind of like the 2021 Lindor, where he had these moments, and you thought, okay, this is it. And then he just kind of goes back down. And again, I've seen enough of Lindor now where you still have 2 months left in the season. I'm not worried about it. But, you're fighting for a division. And every game counts so much if you want to win the division or not. And to not play in the wild card also. Right now the Mets and the Phillies sit in a spot where you can beat out the Dodgers or the Cubs or Brewers, whoever walks away out of the Central. And you don't have to play in a wild card round. You could get that first round bye. And I don't know how much it means because we've seen wild card teams go on these runs in the past couple of years. But with how stacked the National League is becoming, every single rested guy feels so important. But again, I'm talking about this where it's July 31st. We still have plenty of time. But, Mets, they salvaged the day at the deadline at least. They get Tyler Rogers and, oh my God, Ryan Helsley. And how about this, Jeremy? This is a cool stat that I got from Jolly Olive, the man from Talking Baseball, not Talking Baseball, Shea Station, from John Boy Media. Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers against the Cubs, Dodgers, Phillies, and Padres this year combined for 19 and a third inning pitched, 1 earned run between the two, 1 walk, and 16 strikeouts.
You say that
again? These guys in October.
You say that again? That was a lot to take in.
Helsley and Rogers against the Cubs, Dodgers, Phillies, and Padres this year combined.
Okay, I gotcha.
They have a 19 and a third inning pitch to combine between the two of them. They've only let up 1 run. They've only walked 1 batter. They've struck out 16.
That's insane. Like
those are numbers that you think about now for October. That's
Do you
a great job.
do you think the front office knew those numbers before they made the trade?
100%.
Yeah, like, there's no way.
100% they looked into that.
Yeah, that's great. Like that's what you need. Those like you said, those are teams you're gonna be playing come playoff time, especially if you're in a wild card spot. You're gonna have to go through the gauntlet. But I feel like in a sport like baseball, I'd almost rather be a wild card team than be a team that just sits around. Because then if you get past the wild card round, you're hot. You're
You're
moving
hot.
through. You have momentum, and compared to a team who has been kind of just because they've just been sitting around for a while. That's the whole thing with buys and playoffs, especially baseball, man. So like even if the Mets are a wild card team, you saw it last year. Like they get to the wild card and they're hot, and you can go in and beat a team who's been sitting around just practicing for a week. It's there's no better practice than a game. Like there's no way to simulate an actual playoff game environment. So maybe I feel like the Mets just kind of fit that wild card mold with the way this team is constructed.
I mean, I hope not. I'd love to see them, clinch a division title. I haven't seen that since 2015. Now it's been 10
Yeah,
years, and with it's so complicated to just even like wrap my head around because yeah, the Mets and the wild card, you feel good, but bad teams can beat you. Like bad teams can get 2 out of 3 games on you any given day.
yeah.
It's just another series.
It's a
Even
lot.
you want to talk about the division series. A lesser team can get lucky and get 3 games before you. But when you get to the NL ALCS and you get to the World Series and it's a best of 7, that's where I'm unbelievably confident the better team will win.
Yeah,
When you are to a race to 4 games, the better team's going to win every time. They'll win most of the time in a division series. But that wild card, dude, all it takes is one bad start from your starter. All it takes is one blow up from the bullpen. And all of a sudden, like, you're on your heels.
yeah,
A lot of these, and it's a shame because you have 5 teams right now that are not worthy of playing in the wild card. The Mets, Phillies, Dodgers, Brewers, and Cubs. Those are 5 teams right there who are you going to say, I can't believe that they're going to have to play in a wild card. And only 2 of those teams are going to be able to get that division series bye. Who it's going to be right now, if I had to put all my eggs in one basket, I'd probably tell you the Brewers and the Dodgers. But, the Mets, Phillies, and Cubs are all right there. And they can do it. I think right now, I got to see the standings. The Mets were sitting above the Dodgers the other day. They just got swept, so I'll see how that looks right now. I'm sure not anymore. Yeah, right now the Mets would have home field advantage in the wild card. They would take on the Padres, I think. I always forget how this freaking construction
no,
works, man.
not
Oh, we'd
again.
be at Citi Field.
Yeah,
So,
I think
then you
it's
think about 22.
I think it's like the 1 plays the 2, and then like the third wild card team plays the third, like the worst division winner. I
I
think.
think that's probably what it would be, right?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, we have it right here, 2022 wild card. These Mets. I got that towel at the 22 wild card game 3 where they got one hit by Joe Musgrove. That's my recent memory with the Padres.
I got a flag last night. I bought it.
What about the hat giveaway?
Oh yeah, I gotta get it. My flag. And it was
There
cool.
it
It's a Budweiser Yankee straw cowboy hat.
Is it true that they weren't giving it out to people under 21?
Yeah, dude. So I walked in with Victoria, and the guy in front of us had his kid with him,
Mhm.
and the kid was probably no older than like 9 or 10. And the guy was like, "Oh, can I get one for my kid?" And the guy handing out the hat was like, "No, it has the Budweiser logo. I can't give it out." It's like, dude, like it's stupid. I honestly think it's stupid.
It's not made of beer.
No, and
You're not gonna lick it and get drunk.
yeah, what is
It's
the
a
kid not
freaking hat.
beer is like? I'm sure he's seen beer before. It's I get it from like a business thing because yeah, you don't want underage kids promoting beer, I guess, but it's not like a parent isn't just gonna put it on the kid's head anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to promote young drinking. You know what I do want to promote? Badass cowboy hats to wear.
Yeah,
It's
or
a
winning.
cool hat. Give me
Winning.
one now. Give my kid one. Give my kid the hat. I'll provide the beer for him. Okay? Just give him the hat.
Nice
I'll
hat.
give him the Budweiser. I wouldn't give my kid a Budweiser. Those things are disgusting.
It's cooler than I thought it was gonna be. Like on the website, I saw it. I was like, all right, that'd be cool. I didn't think it would be that nice. Like it's a nice
Looks a
straw.
little girly to me. It looks
Yeah,
like a girl would wear that.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, why not?
It's nice to have. I like having like collectors, things like that.
That's good. I like the flag better. I
Yeah,
got a
flex.
cool Mike Piazza thing from Cooperstown. I don't know if I'll be able to point to it from down here. Oh boy, this is a disaster. Hold on.
Nothing but dresser.
Oh, 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 there it is.
Cool. That is cool. I like that.
Got it from Cooperstown. Okay. Back to actual topics with the Mets. So yeah, they get two huge relievers. And by the way, with David Stearns, this is what you talk about Stearns masterclass. And I'll get to what they gave up for Rogers because that's an interesting conversation. Tyler Rogers has a negative 80, I think, arm angle. It's something crazy like that. And then Ryan Helsley has a 36 arm angle. That is outstanding for the playoffs. Yeah. If you go from a guy who's throwing over his head like that to a guy who is basically releasing the ball under his shins, that is going to be impossible to hit. And that's where you can say, oh, righty-lefty matchup, who cares? How about the arm angle matchup right there? That is ridiculous. And Rogers has a 1.50 ERA, 1.50 ERA, I should say. A 150 ERA would not be good. And Mets gave up a lot for him. They gave up Drew Gilbert. They gave up Jose Budo. And why can't I not think? I think they gave up Blake Tidwell as well. I'm pretty sure Tidwell was in the return.
I didn't even see that trade happen. I must have been either driving or just I wasn't on my phone that much at the Yankee game. So I guess it happened then. I saw the Helsley deal, but I didn't see the package they gave up for either of them. I heard Budo went, but I didn't know about Gilbert. That's crazy.
But you get the number 10 and number 12 prospects. And
yeah,
if you compare it,
you know what I mean? Like, is Drew Gilbert really going to make a splash with the Mets? You know what I mean?
The thing is, you could love Drew Gilbert, but you have Jet Williams in the wings, and where is he going to play?
Yeah,
Your outfield is basically set. You got Soto inked up, you have Nimmo inked up, and that really only gives you one spot in center field. That's going to be for Jet Williams when he gets called up, and he's almost ready in a year or so. You know, what spot did you really have for him? And it's a good problem to have for the Mets, but this is my thing. And the Mets fans can sit there and they can complain about, oh, I didn't want to give him up. You can't prospect hug when you're going for a World Series. And this is unfamiliar territory for the Mets and Mets fans because we're not used to sitting here and having the prospect hug and say, I don't want to give him up for this rental. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You got two of the best relievers on the market, and all of a sudden you probably have a top 5 bullpen heading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you don't do that with keeping Drew Gilbert and Blake Tidwell and Jose Budo. It's a bad situation because Tyler Rogers is a free agent after this year. And if you don't sign Rogers, then maybe you could use the argument, why'd you do that for a rental? But at the end of the day, man, you don't win by hugging your prospects. Look at what the Orioles did. Orioles were cruising atop the AL East last year, and you had a chance to really go out there and buy, but you couldn't part ways with your prospects. And now look at them, waiting again for the prospects to come up. Yeah. And I'm not comparing the Mets situation to the Orioles situation. I'm just using these two to say it's the same idea, but completely different scenarios and circumstances. But you don't sit there, you don't win by holding on to your prospects. The Mets bullpen isn't good right now. Now with these two guys, it really adds a lot of depth to it because all of a sudden Reed Garrett becomes one of your premier guys to a depth piece. But, you know, you went out and got Soto. There's your lefty to complement Brooks Raley. You go out and get Rogers. You go out and get Helsley. You finally have an eighth inning guy because Ryan Stanek couldn't do the damn job for you.
Ryan Stank.
And by the way, with Edwin Diaz, I saw this point brought up. I think he has an opt-out at the end of this season. And if he wants to opt out and come back in for more money, and you have Ryan Helsley now, and I don't know what his contract looks like. I'm going to pull it up in a second. But, you know, the Mets don't need to sign Diaz back. I'm sure they're going to want to. But if you have Helsley locked up, who's also a very good reliever for cheaper than what you're going to get Diaz for, you know, somebody said it, and I'm literally just parroting the words they said, but if you're Stearns of the Mets front office, you could have a conversation during winter and say, well, we think we got the best years and the best stuff out of Edwin Diaz we're going to get. You know, let him go find success somewhere else while we throw our money elsewhere. But again, I'm not for it. You know, how Edwin Diaz has pitched, he has looked amazing, and he's playing like the contract is worth it. Even though we've seen Diaz plenty of times and said this is why you don't pay relievers the big money. But, I mean, look, he's been a Met for this long. the Cohen money isn't really much of an excuse to let a guy go. I'd like to see him back, but the point is you don't have to if you have Helsley
Yeah,
locked up. So
that's a good.
let me look at that.
Yeah, it feels like your hands aren't tied. You know what I mean? Like obviously Diaz has been really good for the Mets. Obviously, I think he had the one bad year. Was it 22? I think it was the one really bad year. But he
22 is the great year. 21,
obviously,
he sucked. 23, he was out. 24, he was iffy because he was pitching off of the knee injury.
I gotcha. Okay, so like he's had really good years with you guys, and he's still one of the best closers in baseball. How old is he? Do you have that pulled up?
Let me look right now. And by the way, Ryan Helsley not under contract for next year.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's pretty much you can pick your poison.
I'm gonna pick your poison. Then I'd go. Edwin's 31 years old.
Yeah, he's still got good years left in him.
He'll be 32 by next year. He's March
Yeah,
22nd.
probably like a 3 or 4 year deal.
That was a stupid phrase I just said. He'll be 32 by next year. Yeah, nice. Yeah, what I meant to say is he'll be 32 for the majority of next year. March 22nd is his birthday.
Theoretically, you could bring back both. You know what I mean? Like, there's no salary cap. You have Steve Cohen money. Like,
I'd love to because
bring back both.
I like Ryan Stanek still. Even though I sit there and I've been bashing him a lot, I like him. He's just not made for the high leverage situations anymore. He was last year. He was a great setup guy.
He's got to be up there in age, no?
Yeah, Stanek's been around, dude.
Yeah, well, I remember him with the Astros back in the 2015, late 2010s.
Yeah, he's 34. Whoa, and he was a Marlin. How about that? I did not know he was a Marlin.
Yeah, he's still a great mid relief guy. Like a 5th, 6th, 7th inning guy. But I think it takes a lot of pressure off him now too. He's not having to pitch like a setup guy or a closer. Like he can go and just go throw because you have Soto and Rogers and Helsley and Diaz behind him.
That's exactly my point. You cannot get these trades and then expect other things to not be impacted for the better or for the worse. Like you get Rogers and Helsley, and all of a sudden, Reed Garrett, when are you going to put him in? And remember, Jeremy, people are sitting here complaining about Jose Butto going in the deal because why you want to give up relief arms already because that's what you need. But think about it like this. The Mets are all more than likely going to go out and get a starter today, whether he's good or not. The Mets are going to put Clay Holmes back in the bullpen. It's inevitable at this point. He has not gone 6+ innings all season. Literally, he hasn't seen a start where he's gone past the 6th inning. Tyler McGill will most likely be a bullpen arm. And now you have these guys on top of an already stacked bullpen. Let's be honest, Butto might not have even made the postseason roster.
Yeah, and there's never a team that could have too much pitching. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Injuries happen, guys go through funks. Like, there's no such thing as too much pitching. So I think like what the Mets do with their pitching lab and the guys they sign, the guys they kind of just fix and mold to what they want them to be, they do a great job. You know what I mean? Like, I would say I love Max Fried, I love Garrett Cole, but the Mets are the epitome of just kind of fixing guys. Like, they sign guys for cheap and they literally mold them into what they want them to be. I think that's awesome for the game of baseball because you have these guys who, I don't want to say they're no names, but they're not the guys who you're looking on the MLB app and like, oh, I really want to see Griffin Canning pitch, or oh, I need to see Sean Manaea pitch. You know what I mean? Like, they transform these guys into really, really good pitching. And again, there's no such thing as too much pitching.
Exactly. And you have a good problem now on your hands with the Mets. And I totally forgot the point I was going to say. I'll pivot to this with the rotation now. Like, you have your guys. Like, Manaea is your ace, whether you like it or not. And Kodai Senga, as long as he's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the National League. He can't go deep. That's his problem. But again, now you can excuse that because you have so many of these guys ready to go out of your bullpen. And then, losing Griffin Canning sucks. But David Peterson, he's a guy who can take you deep. He's what the Mets wish they could have another one or two of these guys. Peterson will eat the innings for you. And then after that, it's those top 3 guys. And after that, it feels like a kind of a layup. Not a layup, a toss-up. Layup is good. Toss-up is bad. But you go out and say you got a Zach Gallen or somebody at the deadline today. And then you got to worry about your 5th starter. That's very easy to figure out. Frankie Montas can be that. Guy sucks, but I'll take him as a 5 starter.
That's one guy they should get rid of. He sucks.
I hate watching Frankie Montas pitch, but if he's my 5 starter going into the playoffs, with the
Well,
bullpen that you have now, I'll take it. I'll consider that a win.
playoffs really only need 3 starters. Montas may not even make the roster, which is a good thing.
Might not. Like, you might
That's
not.
a good thing if he's not on your playoff roster.
The point is Mets good problems right now. I do want to talk about the Luis Robert sweepstakes right here, and then we'll get to some more league-wide stuff. Because with Luis Robert Jr. right now, Mets and White Sox have been in talks for what feels like forever at this point, and the consensus is a deal will not get done if Mark Vientos is not in it. I don't know. I'm so back and forth on it. I'm going to stick to my gut and say that I don't want Luis Robert Jr. Guy is way too injury prone. The Mets have 4.5 years of control on Mark Vientos. Robert is just a rental option. He has a terrible history with the injuries, and he's been hot after the deadline. He is what you call a deadline player. He has been just ready to get dealt. Perfect timing for him. I'm not all in on this guy. I understand the counter argument where Vientos is basically just going to be a 25-year-old DH, but I can't justify getting rid of a guy who holds your postseason RBI record for a rental center fielder who you have to worry about getting hurt all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Vientos is a guy that it's tough for the Mets to part ways with. He was so good for them last year in the playoffs, like you said, and it's his second season in the major league. Like Alonso went through a sophomore slump too. It's what happens. Like they're gonna develop guys. The breaking news: Mason Miller and JP Sears to the Padres.
Dude, they might have the best bullpen ever.
That's insane.
They have
That's insane.
They have the best bullpen in the MLB by far. Mason Miller, I got to see the return. That is not a cheap price.
Shortstop, I'm going to butcher this. Leodalis de Viris, number 3 overall base prospect in all of baseball.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, and 3 other pitchers for Miller and Sears.
One thing we know about the Padres, though, they'll get that back in a year. The Padres, what they do every single deadline, one year they sell the farm, the next year they get it back.
Yeah.
They did it with Soto. They've done it with Machado. They do it with everybody. This is just how the Padres operate.
Yeah, they're insane the way they operate. Dude. That's crazy.
That kind of tells me they're all in, though. Look, they do that every other year, but that trade basically tells me that, like, we're ready to go. But again, Jeremy, the Padres are 10 games over 500. Look at the trade they just made. Going back to the Yankees. Cashman, dude, like,
he's in his
wake up. Wake up. If you're all in, like you say you are, everyone else is getting rid of the farm to do this. I'm not saying get rid of the farm, but I'm saying, again, I hate to go back to the Yankees. Wait, who's going to be left? You're going to have crumbs left. I'm not saying the Yankees are going to trade for Mason Miller, but here's the point. Point is, these teams are going for it.
Yeah, the longer they wait, the lesser guys are going to grab. I mean, if anyone out there values any Yankees prospect that's not like Spencer Jones, move them. Who cares? Move them.
Yeah.
Because the Yankees can't develop guys. Buster only tweeted that sources indicate, I don't know who the sources are, but they indicate that Robert Suarez and Dylan Cease will likely be on the move because of the trade. Go get them. Go get them. Like, what's it going to seriously, what is Dylan Cease going to cost in 2025? Now, he's not going to be that expensive. And he's better than Marcus Stroman.
It's good for what you have, dude. Like, what you need, it's good for what you have.
Like, they've been rumored about Dylan Cease for what, the past 3 or 4 years? Mm-hmm. And Robert Suarez he's another guy who is just disgusting with the baseball in his hand. Like, just go, if they move him, I think that'd be kind of crazy, but if they want to move him, go get him. It can't be. I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know what his control looks like. There's no way they can be that expensive.
I don't think so. All right, let's get these. Some stats. JP Sears, 4.95 ERA, 127 WHIP. Not the best numbers, but again, you'll take it.
In the minor league ballpark too.
Yeah, Mason Miller, 3.76 ERA, but with Mason Miller, he's a pitcher where it's not even about the numbers. It's just about that he's going to shove 103 down your throat, and you just got to say good luck. Like, I'm fine with that. If you keep the walks down,
that is a good move by the A's, though. Like, they're rebuilding. That is a weird move for them.
It's great. I mean, I like it for the A's. If that's your return, and see these
Yeah,
pitchers are, I mean, you're stuck in purgatory because I mean, in the lineup too. Like for the first time, Jeremy, like you have the pieces.
yeah.
You know, you have Jacob Wilson, you have Nick Kurtz, and now you have the shortstop coming up. I got to see right now.
And that's kind of crazy. They gave up the number 3 overall prospect in all of baseball for a relief pitcher in JP Sears. Like that's
Gotta see
crazy.
this, bro. Gotta see. What was it? Leo D. Vrace?
Yeah, Leo Dallas de I don't know how to pronounce it. Vries. He's the
Let's
number
see.
3. He's the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. He's a shortstop. Like
He's a
that's crazy to move him for a relief pitcher and JP Sears. Granted, the
he's a,
relief pitcher throws smoke, but
he's a switch hitting shortstop, and he's estimated to be MLB ready by 2027. So, I mean, for the A's, that's like right on track for when you probably say you want to go and start fighting for a playoff spot again.
like say the Yankees make the move, and if they give it Spencer Jones for Mason Miller, I don't. That's dumb.
That's dumb because he's ready. Because he's basically ready next
Yeah.
year, if not the end of this year.
Like I don't for a relief pitcher. Like, if he was a starter, I get it, but a relief pitcher to give up the number 3 prospect in all of the MLB, that's crazy.
I don't know, dude. Like for Mason Miller, man, I mean, I don't know if I like it. I mean, both teams get what they need. You know, A's
Yeah.
keep on building offense for the future. And you got to remember, if they keep Brent Rooker, that's another fun guy that you get to keep around.
You have Wilson, you have Leotis, you'll have Shea Bangaliers, Nick Kurtz.
Good way to separate that name.
You have Butler, and I think they're gonna be a good offensive team. At least you would hope.
I mean, dude, though, but now I gotta see his contract. He must be a free agent at the end of the year, Mason Miller. He must
Probably.
be. There's no way you get rid of him if he's not.
He was a rookie 2 years ago, I think.
Wow, dude, look at oh my god, what's his name is Spot Rack? What I used to see everything. They already updated his team.
That's
Trade
insane.
happened freaking 5 minutes ago. Way to go, guys. Yeah, he is a free agent at the end of this year. He's only taking on wow, he's gonna get a payday. He's only taking on $242,000 this year.
Huh?
You kidding me? He's not even making $300K. I guess he's still on his rookie deal though, so he's gonna get a nice bag.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid. That's wild.
But the Padres, this is what they do. They sell the farm for these rental guys, and then they get rid of the rental guys and get the farm right back. This is their MO. This is their bread and butter. I mean, I like it for them. I love it for the A's though.
Mason Miller will be a Dodger come like February.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I could already see it now. All right, so that's good breaking news. Let's just get to some other trades around the league and we'll get out of here. We've been going for a while now. Eugenio Suarez back home in Seattle. Jeremy, I think the Mariners might be the best team in the American League.
On paper, yeah.
On paper, they're scary, dude.
But like, come playoff time, they're still the Mariners. So it's
like they have.
I want to see it before I start to believe it. But yeah, the way that lineup is constructed, their pitching is disgusting. Like there are 3 guys in a playoff series. It'll be Wu, Kirby, and Gilbert. Like that, I don't know where you could find 3 better guys. And I mean, the lineup is nuts. J-Rod, Naylor, Randy, Gino, Cal Raleigh, J.P. Crawford. Like and they play good defense. And maybe not Gino, but everyone else plays good defense.
And they have a huge, I don't know if it's a series. I should have been keeping up with the Mariners, but they have a huge series with the Rangers today. These guys are tied right now for the last spot in the wild card, 57 and 52. The Rangers have been uber quiet this deadline. I mean, I don't know if they're all in on buying, but the win streak they've been on, they're 57, 52. They could go out and buy, and I don't think anybody would really bat an eye at it, but this is a big series between these 2 guys because
you got to think the Rangers are going to make at least some noise at the deadline too. You know what I mean? Like they're hot right now.
They're hot.
I think it's it was only a matter of time for them to start winning because they are a good team on paper. I don't know though because maybe they just don't believe what they have is good enough. Especially even their own division. Like they're the 3rd best team in the division right now. I guess tied record wise for the 2nd best team in the division.
Yeah, but I mean,
you gotta pick it. You gotta pick a direction. Like you can't just do nothing. I feel like at the deadline when you're a team like that, you have to pick. We're either gonna buy, we're gonna give up on the year, and we're gonna go to next year. Like you can't just do nothing if you're in that spot. I mean, if it's me, I buy. Like, try to make a move.
I do
Try
like
to
buy. I would see what
yeah,
I have.
try to do something to like bolster the offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look at this. The AL West, though, Astros have been slipping a little bit. I mean, look, I can say right now on July 31st, I won't be surprised if the Mariners win the AL West. They're
No, I
5 games back of Houston right now. They have been on a tremendous skid lately. We talked about, or I talked about it. You weren't there for it. I was talking about the Astros. It's not anymore, but like say 2 games ago, the Astros last 18 games, subtracting the last two they played, they got scored on first every time. Like they've been on a terrible rut. And then they finally scored first against the Nationals a few days ago, and they ended up losing. But that's the rut they're on. They've let the Rangers and Mariners get right back into it. And I don't know if the Rangers will be there at the end of September come October time, but I know the Mariners will. I mean, I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised,
that's
dude. You know what? Let's do it right now. Today, July 31st, I, Giuseppe Oliveri, can confidently say the Seattle Mariners will win the AL West. There, put it down. Flag
right.
planted.
Someone write it somewhere.
Someone write it somewhere. That's what I have right now. That'll be my digital footprint to the world. But I love that move for the Mariners. I mean, it's weird because the Suarez market wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It really turned into Yankees or bust, and then after that, it was no noise around him at all. We knew
Yeah,
he was going to get moved. We knew teams were calling about him, but he's just nothing hit the media.
yeah, it was pretty quiet. I think he got hit in the All-Star game. He got hit the other night. He got taken out of the game. I think it definitely had something to do with it. But like, he got moved, and then you got Tyler Locklear back for him, which is a pretty good return.
And you got to remember, they got Josh Naylor, too. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, them
They've
and
already been in talks with them.
the Mariners and the Snakes. I feel like they make a couple moves a year.
They're the trading soulmates.
Yeah, it just makes sense for some weird reason.
Okay. I do want to get to, let's see what else we have to talk about. Suarez back to Seattle. Mariners just talked about that. Oh, Shane Bieber to the Blue Jays. I almost forgot about that with everything else that's going on. What a
Yeah,
deadline
that's
it's
a good
been.
move. That's a good move for them.
I like it a lot. You don't have to buy high on Shane Bieber considering the injuries and the rehab starts that he's been coming back into. But if you get back just like half of what Shane Bieber could be, dude, that's a really, really good rotation all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, it's again. I think that kind of puts them over the hump. Like I know a couple weeks ago we were questioning like if they're really good. Last week we were saying they are a good team, and again I think this puts them even further up in the American League rankings. Like this is a very good baseball team. Now you have another great arm in Shane Bieber.
Yeah, I like it a lot for Toronto. And all of a sudden, I mean, look, playoff time, we'll have to see, but making noise at the right time. 4 games up on the Yankees today. I mean, again, that's another division that a week and things can change, but
yeah,
they got beat up a little bit in Baltimore. They finally broke that skid. But I mean, look, teams like this, if they're not for real, they usually fall off by now. Like, I mean, the Giants are a perfect example. They've fallen off. I don't know. Blue Jays yet to do it. Okay, so there. I really like the Phillies move. I know we talked about it a little bit, not having to give up any of your top 2 prospects for a guy like Yohan Duran, who has been lights out all season long. That's a very good trade by the Phillies. Probably the best value trade that we've seen all playoffs. I hate to say it because that's just going to be disgusting come October time, and I'm sure the Mets are going to have to run into them.
yeah.
They run into them late in September, and that'll be for the division. So, I mean, a lot going down there with the Phillies. They got a big bullpen arm. They needed help there. We'll see if they want to do anything else, but I feel like Phillies are probably done with that. And then what else? Steven Kwan trade rumors. They're hot. Cleveland selling. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, the video of Quan last night, I don't know if you saw it. The video of Quan yesterday when he was like waving to the fans and everything. After like the final out of the inning or the final out of the game, like it was sad. Like I think he really loves Cleveland, but I think he's gonna go, right. Like there's no way they keep him.
I mean, if they were smart, they would. The Clase whole betting scandal completely threw a wrench into their
Yeah,
offseason.
that's true.
Completely threw a wrench into their not offseason, to their deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just, I mean, it's a lot. And, Kwan will probably be dealt by the end of the day where he goes. I mean, the NL West is completely battling for him. If the Dodgers get him, forget about it, dude. The lineup just gets better. The rich get richer, bro.
I didn't want to think about that.
And I think the Dodgers are probably the top team to land him. Oh, and I just exited out of the freaking docks. But That's good. I think that was basically it. That was the last little bit we wanted to talk about.
I mean, obviously it's only 11:20. There's a lot still coming, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll leave it at this. Yankees, if they're gonna make moves, clock's ticking. The Mets want to get their center fielder. It's not a must, but clock's ticking. And everywhere else, stove is hot, dude. It's been a very good deadline so far. It's been one to remember. So I'm happy with it.
Nice that there's moves pretty much every 10 minutes. It's awesome.
We love it. We love baseball, and that's going to do it. Right here from the No Good Takes podcast. This was episode 16. Thank you all so much for watching. Jeremy Horowitz, Giuseppe Oliveri. Time to say our go and check them out. Mike has mic'd up. Bunk has the bunker. Together, they make the Burrows. After that, Mike and JM, they have Hardline Sports Talk and an emergency podcast yesterday. I don't know what it was for. Probably the Mets deadline. And then Gabe with the playbook. Always great stuff there. Jeremy has a golf ball in his hand. I have a Syracuse hoodie on. I go to Hofstra. And that is going to do it. Jeremy Horowitz, Giuseppe Oliveri. We'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Go Breezes. Big game this Saturday, Jay.
No, that's what I was going to say at the end. Big Breezes weekend.
We'll get mic'd up. Don't worry. We'll get some BTS.
I have mics. If Gianna's going to be there, she can record me. It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. Got to stay PG, though. Got to stay PG.
Amen. That's not going to happen.
All right, that'll do it from us. Thank you guys all so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Go baseball. Mets and Yankees. Please make the moves we want you to make. But you don't have to. You know, it's all fun and games. So long all.